How to make sun-dried tomatoes. Sun-dried tomatoes are a delicious way to preserve the rich flavor of ripe tomatoes, and they can be made at home using the sun, an oven, or a dehydrator. Here's how to make them. Ripe tomatoes, egg, Roma, or plum tomatoes work best due to their low water content. Salt. Optional. Olive oil, herbs, basil, oregano, thyme, or garlic. Wash and dry the tomatoes. Cut them in half or into smaller slices for faster drying. Scoop out the seeds if desired to reduce drying time. Sprinkle lightly with salt to enhance flavor and aid in the drying process. Place the tomatoes cut side up on a baking sheet or drying rack lined with cheesecloth or a fine mesh screen. Place the tomatoes cut side up on a baking sheet or drying rack lined with cheesecloth or a fine mesh screen. Place the tomatoes cut side up on a baking sheet or drying rack lined with cheesecloth or a fine mesh screen. Leave space between each piece for airflow. Place the rack in a sunny, well-ventilated spot. Cover with another layer of cheesecloth to protect from insects. Turn the tomatoes occasionally to ensure even drying. Depending on the weather, this can take 4 to 10 days. Tomatoes should feel leathery and pliable but not moist. Once completely dry, store in an airtight container or jar. Follow the same steps for washing, cutting, and salting as above. Place the tomatoes cut side up on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. Preheat the oven to its lowest setting, usually 140–170 degrees Fahrenheit or 60–75 degrees Celsius. Leave the oven door slightly ajar for airflow. Bake for 6 to 12 hours, depending on the size of the tomatoes. Check occasionally for texture. Let the tomatoes cool completely before storing. Follow the same preparation steps. Place the tomatoes cut side up on the trays, leaving space for airflow. Set the dehydrator to 135 degrees Fahrenheit, 57 degrees Celsius. Dry for 6 to 12 hours, checking occasionally. Once fully dry, store in an airtight container. Dry storage. Store the dried tomatoes in an airtight container or resealable bag in a cool, dark place for up to 6 months. In olive oil. Pack the dried tomatoes in a sterilized jar, cover with olive oil, and add herbs or garlic if desired. Store in the fridge for up to 2 weeks. Enjoy your sun-dried tomatoes in salads, pastas, sandwiches, or as a flavorful snack.